First, your heart will break.
My mother got lost in the woods and never came back.
I could list so many other things lost to English.
I think of shooting stars, of our star.
Your heart sounds like a powwow.
Grape soda in the parking lot is what marks my one memory of my grandmother. 4 years old. I sat on her knees just briefly, and I remember she smiled. And then it was grape soda in the parking lot. When she died, a relative said it was us kids fighting that caused it. But I didn't feel any specific way about that idea. I still don't. I didn't know her. She was 6 feet tall and apparently left-handed. She eloped with my grandfather, who was decades older and not 6 feet tall. I have only one thing that belonged to her: my grandmother. Scottish Gaelic died along with her. With them, at least in our family, lost to English. If she could not give Gaelic to her children, she could give her resentment of everything English, so they despised their own tongues and refused to speak to each other for days or years or forever. I could list so many other things lost to English. We could be here all day. It wouldn't even be funny. It wouldn't even be funny. But this is supposed to be about my mother's grief, not mine. I call it an accessory to my grief because I do not know its full size or shape. She loved a good short story, a good chocolate, raspberry jam. My mother. She took the Gaelic courses. She bought the tapes. She learned the lyrics, maybe even the Irish ones. There's a video clip somewhere of her singing Scottish washing songs and doing the motions. And of course, she went to Scotland. The Scotland of my childhood is a picture of my young mother in a kilt, seated on a low stone wall in the Highlands. She went again and again. I went there too, last summer, to my grandparents' village. If I have anything interesting to say about that trip, it is this. The land may look something like the Arctic, but I didn't see any berries, so I don't know if I could have been happy there. This is what my mother would say. Bloody English. Bloody English. And in her youth, my mother sought refuge in French, moved to Quebec, and there met, of course, my father, who had his own history with English. My father, sent away with tuberculosis for years and years until his family thought him dead, lost his language so he spoke only English. Nearly sent back to the wrong Inuit community in an Arctic as vast as many countries. Found his tongue again, but never lost the taste of English in his mouth. I could list so many other things lost to English. We could be here all day. It wouldn't even be funny. But this is supposed to be about my father's grief, not mine. I call it a memory of his memory. because I do not know its full size or shape. He loved the movies. He loved Bruce Lee. He talked about aliens like he couldn't wait to meet them. My father. You want to think in your language. You want to use it in love, in joy, in sadness, and in anger. You want to be able to describe any room you find yourself in, from the floorboards to the light fixtures, so anyone else who knows the same language can enter and look around. You want to know all the names of places as they have whispered it themselves to the people who have listened long enough. You want to dream. What if, as in dreams, every language that had been lost to English, every word, every syllable, grew up out of the ground in flowers, flowed around us like rivers, and took its place again in the minds and mouths of all its speakers? What if it danced across pages and in movies and love stories, and even on everyday things like toaster manuals? What if we relearned all the terms for ideas that English does not understand? What would we say? Would it be too much? Would it take too long to say anything? Would we have to sacrifice words like efficiency and productivity and intergenerational trauma? We could be here all day. It wouldn't even be funny.